Well, it's been a really long wait through this bull market, but I think we're finally there. I think we are going to get our altcoin season. Yay. So during 2024, there was, a great run and peak before the Bitcoin halving, and, those who sort of followed the 4-year cycle, it's like, well, that can't be all there is. It's got to be more. Greed kicked in, and us in particular didn't take profits. That led to a big long period from probably about April or so after the Bitcoin halving right through until November, and where everyone was like, oh, Trump's going to save crypto and do this and do that and blah, blah, blah. Everyone was waiting to see what the election results were going to be in November. And yes, there was a Trump pump, but that was quickly followed by the Trump dump, because he created his own meme coin and did a rug pull and a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. So 23rd of January is forever embedded in my head, because for whatever reason, I set up quite a few of my altcoins as, limit order trades to sell at a profit. And they've done nothing but just tank. So, 50, 60% down. I've just been sitting there looking at these balances just going, wow, what's going to happen here? When is this altcoin season going to get here? So here we are now in August, at the time of recording this. It's been a little bit of a gap between my last video. We've had a lot going on, but Nat and I have decided that even though we wanted to, get back on the road and be nomadic, this is too important of a time. I mean, we've really not earned a lot of money sort of outside of crypto in the last couple of years. We've been living off crypto for quite a while. So this was the time that we needed to settle down. We've got a home base here now in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Mexico, and we're just gonna, trade our butts off for the next few months, but also create videos. Like having the home base definitely makes it easier to be able to get in and do some videos and help you make the most of this altcoin season of the 2025 bull run, or what could possibly be the end of the bull run. Nobody knows when it's going to end, but just feeling like the moment like it's right at the start of everything. I mean, we've got Bitcoin at all-time highs, Ethereum, I don't know if it hit the all-time high, but it's not far off it. And yeah, with that having made its run, we expect everything else to go forward as well. So what I did yesterday on our weekly Crypto Buddies Zoom call is I walked through the Pionex exchange, because many of us in Crypto Buddies started 4 years ago in the last end period of the bull market. Not that we knew that back then, but yeah, it's sort of interesting to have gone through a complete 4-year cycle, and we're back sort of where it began, but this time with a whole lot more knowledge. So I'm just going to share with you in the next section of this video a little bit from my call yesterday, where I was walking through these Pionex bots. Anyone who's ever done grid bots with either learning from the plan or other people out there that teach grid bots, I think you'll find this interesting, because over the coming weeks I'm going to share a lot more around how to set the grid bots up on Pionex and more sort of tutorial stuff. But Nat's going to stick to scalp trading. She's making the most of scalp trading for this period, so we're going to be kind of almost having a little bit of a battle royale. Who's going to make the most, me with the grid bots or her with the scalp trading? But either way, we're going to be making money. That I think is an absolute given. So there's a little bit of risk involved with the type of bots that I'm going to be doing on Pionex, because they will be futures bots, therefore leverage included. And there are ways around for people in so-called restricted countries that aren't supposed to do leverage trading or futures bots. There's ways around it for sure. But I'll have more tutorials coming on that. But right now, let's go into the session of part of the session that I recorded yesterday. I might make another video that will actually show the how to set the bot up, and it could be from yesterday's video as well, but I'm just giving you 10 minutes or so of this to kind of talk about the grid bots in comparison to using Bitscap or 3 but yeah, just sort of what the futures bots are as well and how they work. So enjoy that, and I'll see you at the end. So Christine's got a Pionex account. So for the video here, I just wanted to walk her through what I've been setting up and explain some of the some of the different bots here. So at the moment, I'm not interested in doing the spot bots, and really it's not going to be too hard to work out things that we know from the settings that we know from the plan or the Midas method or whatever to be able to do spot bots. So this is all about futures bots. With the futures bots, there's a list of different ones there. So I'll just briefly explain what I know of them, and I don't know everything as yet. But the main one that I've been doing is the futures grid bot at the top. So that one is where you've got USDT on the right and whatever coin it is you're choosing. Underneath that is 𝗀𝗡𝗄 futures grid. So that's where if you were to deposit some Solana, XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, anything that you have a little stash of, and even if it's only a few $100s worth, you could deposit it into Pionex and then click on 𝗀𝗡𝗄 futures bot, and you would be earning in that coin. So when you go to close the bot when it's in profit, it does give you the choice of taking it in USDT, but if you're wanting to like grow your stash of Bitcoin or Solana or any of those ones. So if you actually click on that 𝗀𝗡𝗄 one there first, Christine, I'll just show you the different.
Click on create.
Yep. So when you click on underneath the 𝗀𝗡𝗄 futures grid, you see the Bitcoin 𝗀𝗡𝗄 perp. There's a drop-down menu on the right-hand side there. If
Oh,
you
there.
click on that, it'll give you the list of what there is. So you've got ADA, Cardano, BNB, Bitcoin, Doge, ETH, Hype, 𝗂𝗵𝗄, Sol, Sui, Uni, and XRP. So that's pretty cool. Like if there's any of those coins that you'd like to grow more of a stash of, then this is one way of doing it, is actually having a 𝗀𝗡𝗄 bot. So if you go back up to where it says 𝗀𝗡𝗄 futures grid and there's a left-hand arrow, that'll just put us back to the selection of bots. Okay, so then the next one down is a signal bot. A signal bot is pretty much like what the wave bots are in the crypto code, but because we're in futures, it's giving you, oh no, don't go into it, we don't want that. I'm just explaining what they are.
Yep.
They would be like, let's say we wanted to use one of the crypto code indicators, and it would you have to do a little bit of script, sort of copy and paste thing in here, and then it just activates, like it won't start the bot until one of those signals goes off. And there's all different types of signals you can use, but that's kind of how wave bots are run through 3 commas. And it's just nice to know that it's here in Pionex if ever we wanted to do that as well. Then there's cross-margin future grids. I'm not going to look at those because at the moment, with the alt season pretty much like ready to pop. I mean, with Ethereum's breakout in this last few days, that's a really good signal that Ethereum comes first. Bitcoin should start slowing down. It'll still go up, but it's going to be about the Bitcoin dominance easing off and allowing Ethereum to run, Solana, XRP, and then all the alts. So we don't really want to be looking at kind of any hedging at this point in time. Underneath that, it's futures moon, Bitcoin moon, Ethereum moon, and Bitcoin growth. Now, I'm playing around with one of the futures moons at the moment. Now, the difference with these particular bots here is instead of charging you a trading fee for every single little transaction, because remember when you've done your taxes, you guys, that there's like reams and reams and reams of transactions when you're doing a bot. What Futures Moon is doing in Pionex is they're not charging you a transaction per, every buy and sell. What they're going to do instead is when you actually close the bot in profit, they're going to take 20% of that profit. Now, it sounds like a lot, but it actually works out to be better than using their example anyway. So I'm just going to test it, and I'm testing out one with I can't remember, it might be Sui or something like that. I'm doing one of the futures moons. But pretty much you can ignore all of them. If you're not interested in that, you can read the tutorials and stuff about, whether it's better to do this or whether it's better to do the pay the transaction for every time. That'll be kind of your own understanding, and maybe as I get a bit more results to see, okay, what's it like if I make $100, but I'm going to lose 20 of it in fees, what would the fees have been? And that'll all depend on, the length of time and how many transactions go through and all of that.
Is that leveraged so the futures
All
grid,
futures are leveraged. Yeah.
do you get to choose the leverage or is it set?
Yes, you get to choose. So
Okay.
you're not going to be able to do anything in here if you don't have any USDT or any coins in here as yet. But the main thing to sort of consider is if you're wanting to do a 𝗀𝗏 futures, come in, look at that list. Just remember they're all sort of the main ones: Cardano, BNB, XRP, Sol, Sui, Doge for some reason. Hype is in there, which is quite interesting, and obviously Ethereum and Bitcoin. So if you have little stashes of those and you'd like to make them work for themselves, it's like, well, why just sit there and hodl some of those things when you could be like making money on it through this next 90 days to 120 days, however long this period lasts, and have it work for you and make some more. But perhaps you don't want to go into the bear market holding on to Doge or Sui or Hype or something. So you still might want to sell out at the end of them. But why not accumulate more? So the other thing with these grid bots is that as it pays out, like as it actually takes some profit along the way, you can choose to reinvest that back in. So far, I've only been playing around with small amounts, like a $200 bot, a $300 bot. I think the biggest one I've got is maybe $600 or $700 worth of Bitcoin, because I'm doing a 𝗀𝗏 future on that. It's all sort of like just learning and testing and seeing how it's all going to go. And so far, it's been really cool. And I just think that this is a great way for us all to, if we remember back exactly 4 years, and Christine, you might have been a bit late in on the plan, but this is where everything went crazy. This is this altcoin run that's going to happen, and our bots all just went crazy.
And
the interesting thing to note between the futures grid and the futures moon, not only is it different with the transaction fee thing, but the futures moon, Bitcoin moon, Ethereum moon, and Bitcoin growth, they all do trailing up. All those ones at the top there, futures grid, coin futures grid, they're the only two we're really looking at. They don't do trailing up. So that's why it's a little bit more manual to, kind of watch your bots. Don't give it a lot of attention, but you still have to give it attention. It's not like what Dan Holling said in the plan, which was set and forget and walk away, and it doesn't matter if it's up or down or blah, blah, blah. It's like bullshit. It does matter if it's a bear market, an accumulation phase, or a bull market. It all matters. And we are, even back in the Bitscape days, we always used to look at the bots. We just didn't have the know-how on how to stop the bot, take the maximum profit, then put another bot on again. So I think to a degree, trailing up really worked against us because it would go out of its grid eventually. What else did I want to show you on here?
Does this go out of range at all? Sorry.
It will, Paul, because there's no trailing up, but we're not going to be going out of the bottom range. So the point of it is, the point I'm trying to make is that everything went wrong in 2022 because Dan Hollings never spoke to us for months to tell us what to do when all of our grids fell out the bottom. He didn't tell us what to do. But with doing these bots now at this time, which is when everything runs really good, we're going to be able to tell you when to stop those bots. These are not set and forget, and neither should our plan bot. Our plan bots should never have been set and forget, because the people who fell out of the bottom and then decided and kept the bot open for like a year and a half, 2 years until finally it came back in, you still that was just like no money was earned for 2 years. And it's never really, unless you close the bot when it had its peak in March or November last year, like there was probably no chance of getting that money back. So the point for this is we'll be running bull market bots until we get that trigger that says it's time to start shutting down and moving out because we're going to start heading down. And we've all got so many more people and indicators and all sorts of things and experience. You know, this is our second time at this intense 3 or 4 months. This is our second run at this. And instead of like last time where we thought it was just going to keep going forever, now we know the 4-year cycle doesn't keep going forever. We've got to make the most of it while it's here. Hopefully that was a good little overview for you. I'm sorry it wasn't a lot of detail to start with. That came later in the session. We do these weekly Crypto Buddies calls every week, and you can ask your questions there as well. But right now, if any questions have been raised from what you've just watched, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you'd like to know more about so I can create some more detailed videos on that. And also, if you want to get into Pionex now, please use the link below down in the description. That's actually my referral link, which will give you access to my bots. So you won't even have to do any setup or deciding the top of the range, the bottom of the range or anything. You can just literally copy my bots. So that will be rolled out over time. We will have probably a Telegram, I think, to be able to share updates on the bots. But right now, it's just about getting into Pionex and getting started with these things, get some money transferred in there. And if you are in a restricted country, just do the KYC 1. Don't try to do KYC 2. And KYC 1, if you're going to be smart about it, you're going to use a VPN and you're not going to use, say, a US phone number because that would be a dead giveaway. Use your email, set up a 2FA, that's all you need, and you'll be able to deposit in either the crypto you're wanting to use on Coin futures or USDT if you're wanting to run the USDT-M futures. Anyway, lots to come. I look forward to kicking this channel off again with some great tutorial videos and some help for you. But yeah, just follow the links below, and if you want to have a personal chat, you can book in for a consult with me as well. Thank you for watching. Hope you found it helpful. Ciao for now.